What's up, guys? Another monster here, anothermonsterproductions.com. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So today I want to do a quick walkthrough video of this lo-fi hip-hop track that I made using only toy samples from the Cymatics Toy Shop sample pack that they just released. And they're doing a little challenge on Instagram where you can kind of post like a 30 to 60 second video. So of course I decided to do that, and we'll see what the results are. Basically, they're gonna, I guess, post the ones that they like the most. So that would be pretty crazy. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a listen to the track. And after that, we'll kind of go through, I guess, step by step of, some of the processes I did. And yeah. By the way, guys, if you have any of your own techniques, like as I go through here, any like secret processing tips that you guys have, leave that in the comment down below. I'm curious to see maybe some things that you would have done differently in the processing of this track. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a listen here, and then we will jump into the video. Let me unmute this. All right. All right, guys, so you guys get the idea. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump in here. So I just muted that vinyl plugin that I have going on so that there's not so much background noise in this video. So I'll have to remember to unmute it. But let's start with the kick. So this is what the kick sounds like, which I'm pretty happy with. I think it sounds like a, lo-fi real kick sample. And let me just take all the processes off and we will see what it sounded like originally. Actually, the full sample sounded like this. So then I just took off that last little bit, chopped it so that it's basically just this transient kick looking sample. And then at first I EQ'd it like this. Which sounds pretty good. And then I add a little bit of compression, which looks like this. And then I EQ'd it again, which looks like this. And that's what gave it, to me, I kind of EQ'd it to get that punch. I didn't want quite as much sub. I wanted kind of more of a real kick sample type sound. So initially I had put this in mono. By the way, I'm streaming this in mono, so you're not getting the full stereo field. But there was a lot of stereo image going on in this kick, and I had put it in mono to see how that would sound, but I actually ended up leaving it in stereo because it just sounded more authentic to me. And so there is a lot of stereo information going on, but I think it works for this type of track. So let's go ahead and move on. Basically, and that sample, by the way, was named Various Toys 32. If you guys want to download the sample pack and check out these sounds for yourself. So it's a free download. So the next sample is Transformer Toy 17, and it's just a click. Which I turned way down, and then I layered it with this sample, which this sample originally was longer, sounded like this. It actually had even more information back here. So that's what the full sample sounded like. Actually, let me just edit, undo. And then I chopped it to there because I felt like that was a good place to kind of give it that I don't know, man. It just sounded like a lo-fi snare sample to me, and I didn't even do any processing on it. So that's that. Next we have our hi-hat, which sounds like this. Pattern 3. So I used Fisher-Price Various Toys 9, and this is what it looks like in the piano roll. I brought it into the piano roll to be able to control the velocity better, and then I actually added this because for some reason it was like playing the whole sample. So here, I'll play what the whole sample sounds like. So that's what the whole sample sounds like. And then as far as processing goes, I added a little bit of EQ, which just took out some of the low information, and added a stereo shaper. Why is my mouse doing that right now? That's really annoying. Stereo shaper, which it basically just made it sound really wide, and then more pan to the left, and then I actually panned it a little bit more to the left. So it's super left panned, but it's kind of the way I wanted it. All right, so next we have our Ball Machine 7, which sounds like this. And originally it sounded like, basically I EQ'd it to make it sound sort of like a radio effect. This is what it sounded like before. And then after. And I did this with a lot of sounds in this project. I think I had a couple other effects linked to it. So I think I linked this one to it as well. Yep. Yeah. So just more effects. The name of that was Ceramic Chili Peppers 13. Next we have our Lo-Fi snare hit. So this was something that I just added on I guess that was like every 8 bars. And it's just a little lo-fi drum sample, which originally sounded like this. So it was a little drum roll, and I chopped that up. So, see if I did any processing on that. Nope, didn't even load it up into the channel, or into the mixer. All right, so next we have our Fisher-Price Crab 10, which sounds like this. And to me, after adding, I'm pretty sure, hang on, let me just double check. Yeah. So this sample I also have routed to this EQ, which looks like this. And to me, it just sounded almost like static on a record. But because I have it looped in the pattern, it gives it just more lo-fi vibes to me. It makes it sound cool. So next we're moving on to our sub, which the sub is actually a piano sample from a toy piano. And I'll show you what the original sample sounded like in a second, but this is what it sounds like. I actually have, it's even more, like it's filtered more on this part, but this is what it sounds like soloed on the rest of the track. I have 2 isotope vinyls on it, one of which was only automated to play during the intro. And then this one, I have it EQ'd like this. So just a little bit more bass in there. Let's see, what? That's pattern 5. I'll go into the piano roll. All right, so I have it pitched way down. The original sample sounds like this. Well, I'd have to take the EQ and everything off, but that's sort of what the original sample sounds like. And actually, I think it's the same sample. Let's see, it's Baby Einstein Piano 3. I think I used like Baby Einstein Piano 2 for the main lead, which sounds like this. So dry with no processing. This is what it sounded like. Here, I'll actually go into the piano roll. So I plotted out these notes and I purposely put them off the grid to give it more swing, more of that lo-fi sampled vibe. And this is what the original sample sounded like right there. Turn the velocity up. Oh, I think I turned the wrong velocity up. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the idea. That's what it sounded like before. So it was, because it was a sample and there's not really a way for me to extend the decay of it, because it kind of just hits and then cuts off. That's why I added as much reverb as I did. I didn't want to put too much reverb to take away from the sample, but I wanted that decay to sound longer. So and then I added this vinyl, which I put some mechanical noise, which if I unmute it, you'll be able to hear. Kind of adds a little bit of that record background noise. Brought the wear up to 61%. Added some electrical noise, some dust, which I have at 50%. And, oh, it moved, 50%. And then some warp, which gives it that going in, like, out of tune type warp effect. So, and then I changed the era to give it, or the year to give it like a 1950s recorded feeling. So this is what it sounds like after processing. And we'll go ahead and add this in. So this is just a little toy sample, which I have rooted to this, so it's going over the same processing that the piano was. Let's see, what was the name of this sample? Toy xylophone. So then next we have this, which is Simon Swipe 4, and this kind of gave sort of like an ambient pad type feel, which I thought was really cool, and I actually had it turned up a lot at first, but then I ended up turning it way down because I just felt like it was too overpowering. So it's just more of like a textural thing. Next we have our that, and by the way, these are all linked to that original processing, so they have the same amount of reverb and isotope on them. I think on this one, so on that last pad we just listened to, I added another vinyl on it just to make it sound even more worn out. And then we have this. So that's just more textural, kind of out of tune. This was the Fisher-Price Various Toys 5. All right. So what did I do next? Oh, next I added these vocal samples. We just went over this, by the way, which sound like this. Where do they go? Oh, I forgot to unmute everything. All right. So they sound like this. Actually, let me, well, no, that's fine. Oh.
Let's play.
So the original sample.
Let's play along to a marching song.
And, you know, it wasn't even so much that I wanted these to be heard. I kind of just wanted to give it more of a, just like a feeling. I don't know. Sometimes you'll hear like random vocal samples in the back of lo-fi where it's like you can't really tell what they're saying, or you can, but it just adds some sort of texture and like feeling to the song that I'm having a hard time explaining right now, but I was going for that sort of vibe.
Let's play.
And then the dose, I mean, that was just, again, you know, you can't even hardly hear it in the song. It's just add some character to it.
Let's play.
Okay, and then this piano I added after the original like pattern that I created here, because it just felt like it was missing something, and this melody really brought it all together for me. And let's take a look. Where was it? 6? So this is what it looks like. So mess with the velocity to kind of get it right. did a little bit of panning. I panned this one farther to the right, and then it goes back and forth. And then I think that actually has similar processing as the other one. Let me just double check. Yeah, so it's the same. It's got the same processing as the other one as well. So yeah, that we just went through the entire project and looked at every single sample. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. If you liked it, please go ahead, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. And always remember, your favorite producer was once exactly where you are. Peace!